At 4:03 a.m., the Philadelphia Amtrak station was empty, except for a woman and her small son, asleep on a cold metal bench. Her name was Emma Davis. She had no idea that within minutes, a man she'd never met would turn her world upside down. A flashlight beam cut across her face. A hand shook her shoulder, firm but not rough.
Ma'am, you need to wake up.
What? Why is a security guard waking me?
The CEO of the rail line is in the lobby. He's asking for you. By description.
The CEO of the rail line? That doesn't make any sense.
She scooped up her sleeping son, Mason, and followed the officer through the dim corridor, her mind racing. Through the glass doors, a silhouette waited. A tall man in an expensive coat, pacing.
I've seen that walk before, but where?
7 hours earlier. The station was loud with late-night travelers. Emma Davis stood at the ticket counter, pushing crumpled bills under the glass. She took the ticket, the last one. Behind her, the departures board flickered. Pittsburgh, sold out.
Mama, if you get the job, will we have a real house?
A real house, baby. One we don't have to leave. I promise.
She rehearsed interview answers in her head, fingers tracing the edge of the ticket. It was her only chance.
If I can walk into that office at 9 a.m., everything changes for us.
The board confirmed it. The next train to Pittsburgh was sold out. Hers was the last seat on the last train.
I am sleepy. Mama, can we go now?
Soon, baby. Just a little longer. We'll board soon.
She checked her phone. 11:02 p.m., 7 hours until her interview. 7 hours until their future. If nothing went wrong. Then, a voice cracked open the quiet. A man 2 rows away, phone pressed to his ear. His expensive suit suddenly useless against whatever he was hearing.
She's in surgery right now, and I am stuck here. No, they just announced sold out. I can't get there.
Mama, why is that man crying?
I don't know, baby. Something bad, maybe.
Her heart stopped once already. If I miss her, I swear.
Emma's eyes went to the board again. Pittsburgh, sold out, still burned in red. The man wasn't lying. There was no other train.
His daughter. Car accident. He's trying to get to her.
She looked at her son, then at the ticket in her hand. It was all she had, a slip of paper that was supposed to buy them a life.
But if it were Mason in that hospital, and some stranger held the only ticket.
She stood up, the ticket clutched tight. Mason stirred against her coat.
That daddy needs to see his little girl, sweetheart. He's scared. Like we get scared. We'll figure it out. Okay? Mama just needs to do something.
But our house. You said we'd have a real house.
We will, baby. I am not giving up. But right now, that man needs this more.
She straightened and walked to the sobbing man. The ticket extended toward him like a plea he would understand.
Take my ticket. The train boards in 5 minutes.
You are giving me this? Who are you?
My name is Emma. Your daughter is waiting. Go.
She forced the ticket into his trembling hand, her fingers brushing his. The overhead speaker blared, "Last call for Pittsburgh Amtrak, boarding at gate 4. Alex stumbled toward the gate, clutching the ticket like a lifeline. He looked back, but Emma had already returned to Mason, her back a wall against the cold.
I just gave away our only way out. There's no way we'll make the interview now. What have I done?
The train slipped out of the station with a low hum. Emma stood at the window, watching the red tail lights disappear into the dark.
Now? What, Mama?
We're camping tonight, right here. Like an adventure, remember? I'll tell you a story.
She dug out her phone, 2% battery. She pressed the Pittsburgh number, but it only rang unanswered.
There goes our chance. I can't even leave a message. The battery will die before it connects.
The station had emptied. The departure board was now a blank monitor. Only the hum of the heating kept them company.
Come here, baby. Mama's coat will keep us both warm.
Mason's small hand found hers under the coat. He was already drifting. The station clock read 1:17 a.m. hours to go before daylight. Hours with no plan.
I don't know what we're going to do, but I had to help him. I couldn't let him lose his daughter.
She tried the outlet on the wall, but the socket was dead. No charge, no call.
Of course, nothing about tonight is going to be easy.
With the last flicker of battery, she dialed the Pittsburgh office once more, and this time it rolled to voicemail.
Miss Grant, this is Emma Davis. I am stuck in Philadelphia. Missed the last train. I'll find a way. I am not giving up.
Mason shivered in his sleep, his small body trembling even under the coat. She pulled it tighter around him as the station grew colder. Then, from the end of the corridor, an older man in a custodian's uniform approached, carrying a folded blanket and 2 steaming cups.
Ma'am, you and the little one look like you could use some warmth. I've got an extra blanket from the lost and found.
Thank you. I don't know what to say. You didn't have to.
Nobody should sleep cold, not while I am on shift. Hot chocolate, too, on the house.
Emma took the cup, its warmth spreading through her frozen fingers. For a moment, the night felt a little less unforgiving, a little less empty. 3 hours earlier, 40 miles outside Philadelphia, a black SUV sat dead on a rural road. Its owner, Alexander Hayes, was screaming into his phone.
I don't care how long it takes. My daughter is in emergency surgery in Pittsburgh. Get here now.
By the time a tow truck finally dropped him at the station, the last train to Pittsburgh was boarding and sold out.
I own this rail line and I can't get a seat. My daughter.
Then a woman's hand had appeared, pushing a ticket into his chest. He'd barely registered her face before he was on the train, his heart pounding through the entire ride.
She's stable. Her heart is strong. Thank God.
After hanging up, he stared at the ticket stub in his trembling hand. The gate agent had said it was the last one.
That woman. She gave up her only ticket. She was with a boy. They'll be sleeping on a bench because of me.
His daughter was safe, but a stranger had paid his fare. He pulled up the station's security feed on his tablet and started searching.
I will find you, whatever it takes.
In his Pittsburgh office, Alexander Hayes pulled up the security footage from the Philadelphia station. Grainy, time-stamped, unforgiving. He watched the moment unfold. A woman in an oversized coat walking toward him, ticket extended, his own hand taking it blindly.
She didn't hesitate. She walked right up to a stranger and gave him everything she had.
He fast-forwarded, saw her return to a small boy, wrap him in her coat, sit motionless as the station emptied around them.
She's stranded in my station because of me. She had a little boy, and she chose my daughter over her own tomorrow. Get me a line to Philadelphia security. Now, there's a woman and a child in the main concourse. I want them located and safe and have a town car outside. I am driving back. 4 hours. I'll be there before she wakes.
A black town car idled outside the Pittsburgh office, headlights punching through the pre-dawn mist. He climbed in without a second glance.
Emma. I don't even know her last name, but I'll find her. She paid for my daughter's life with her only ticket.
The highway unwound dark and fast. By 4 a.m., he would be back where she was, and nothing would be the same. The glass doors slid open, and Emma stepped into the main lobby. Under the high ceiling, the man from the phone stood waiting, and this time, she saw his face.
It's him, the man from the phone, and he's the CEO? How is that possible?
Alexander Hayes turned. His expression was raw, gratitude and shame mingling in the same weary eyes. He stepped toward her as if afraid he'd frighten her.
Emma, I didn't get your name before. My daughter is alive because of the ticket you gave me. I came back to find you.
You were the man on the phone. You are the CEO of the rail line?
I own it, and I've spent the last 3 hours watching you on security footage, sitting on a bench in my station because I took your only way out.
He watched me. He came all the way back. Why would a man like him care about us?
I need to know. Why? Why would you give up everything for someone you'd never met?
Because if it were my son in that hospital, I'd want someone to do the same. I couldn't walk past you.
The lobby fell silent. Two strangers, now bound by a moment neither would ever forget, and a decision that was only beginning to unfold. Alexander shook his head slowly and pulled a tablet from his coat, turning the screen toward her. Grainy video played, the same moment she'd lived hours ago.
I've watched this footage 12 times. You never hesitated. Not even for a second.
I just did what anyone would do.
Number. Most people wouldn't. Certainly not someone with a child to worry about. You gave away your last chance.
I didn't do it for recognition.
I know you didn't, and I am not trying to buy your forgiveness or your pride, but I can't walk away from this. What can I do? Tell me. Anything.
I didn't give my ticket for a payoff, Mr. Hayes. I gave it because it was right.
And that's exactly why I can't let it go. It's not charity. It's justice. Let me offer you something that matches who you are.
Emma hesitated, the weight of the night pressing into her shoulders. Her eyes fell to Mason, asleep in her arms, then back to the man who owned the very floor she stood on.
Maybe he means it. But what could he possibly offer that doesn't feel like a handout?
Alexander pulled out a leather notebook, flipped it open, and began to write in deliberate strokes.
I've wanted to build community impact. You'd be its director, someone who knows what it is to need help.
He tore out the page, then produced a second document, a permanent annual family pass, embossed with the rail line's seal. Emma's fingers trembled as she read the job offer. Full benefits, a real salary, a position that could reshape her life.
This offer, it's real. But accepting means giving up on Pittsburgh. I've been counting on that interview for months.
This isn't charity. It's a position I've wanted to fill for months. You are not just qualified, you are the prototype. You'd help families stranded like you were. No one else would think of it the way you do.
Her phone buzzed with the 5:30 alarm. Pittsburgh interview reminder. She could still catch a bus and be in that office by 9. Mason stirred, his hand tightening on her sleeve. She looked at him, then at Alexander.
If I take this, we stay here. Mason gets a bed, a real home. But Pittsburgh, I might still make it. I don't know what to do. Mason, sweetheart, I need your help. Wake up just a second.
Is it time for the bus?
What if we stayed here, baby? No more moving. A job and a home right now, would that be okay?
Like a real house? With my own bed?
Yes, a real house with your own bed. We wouldn't have to leave anymore.
Then yes, Mama. I am tired of being cold.
Mr. Hayes, I accept the position, but I am not taking a handout. I will earn every penny, and I'll be the best director this rail line has ever seen.
I have absolutely no doubt about that.
He handed her a pen. She signed the offer letter on the cold marble bench, her son's small signature scribbled beside hers in crayon. Then he gave her the permanent family pass. She ran her thumb over the embossed seal, and the weight that had lived in her chest for years finally shifted. Mason looked up at her, and for the first time, Emma wasn't afraid of tomorrow. Outside, the sky was still dark. Alexander's town car idled at the curb. Emma climbed into the back seat, her phone finally charged, and scrolled to the Pittsburgh number.
It's almost 9. I am about to give up the only plan I had for months.
She pressed dial. The line rang twice before a familiar voice picked up.
Emma, I was hoping you'd call. Are you on your way?
Miss Grant, I am so sorry. I can't make it. An opportunity came up here, something I never expected. I have to take it.
I see. Disappointing. We had you pegged as the top candidate, but I understand.
Thank you for the chance. It meant more than you know.
Good luck, Emma. I hope it turns out to be something wonderful for you.
Emma lowered the phone. The call disconnected. She stared at the blank screen, then at the signed offer letter on her lap, the permanent pass tucked beside it.
That's it. No more running. A real job. A real home for Mason. We're staying.
A week later, Emma stepped into the rail headquarters with a pressed blazer and butterflies. Alexander met her at the elevator.
I remember promising you more than a bench. Let's make it official.
He took her to a modest office, not a corner, but it had a window and a nameplate on the door. She ran her fingers over the engraved letters. Emma Davis, Director of Community Impact. A small vase of daisies sat beside it.
I never thought I'd see my name written on something permanent.
This folder outlines the Community Impact Program. Emergency travel tickets, family assistance. You'll lead it all.
She sat at the desk, flipping through the pages. A photo of his daughter was clipped to the first page, with a handwritten note. Thank you for making my daddy care.
One ticket turned into a whole program. He really meant it.
And this, he handed her the permanent pass, is for you and Mason. No expiration.
She placed the pass beside the photo, and for a long moment, the office was silent, except for the distant hum of departing trains. A year later, on a spring morning, Emma stood on the platform where she'd once been stranded, waiting in the sun. The train was waiting, but this time, for Mason.
He'll see the whole country from the best seat in the house.
Be safe, baby. Take pictures. Remember you are on the train that changed everything for us.
Mason climbed into the cab, his small form swallowed by the huge window, a conductor hat perched on his head. The train horn blared, and Emma stepped back, waving as the wheels began to turn. Inside, the engineer showed him the throttle, and Mason's small hand reached out, as if he could steer the country.
Mama, I can see mountains. Real mountains with snow, and the engineer let me honk the horn. I am driving the whole train.
Emma pressed the phone to her ear, laughing through tears, standing in the empty space where she'd once slept. She watched it shrink to a dot on the tracks. One ticket, one night, and now her boy was seeing the world. The train disappeared into the horizon, and the woman who'd given away her only ticket watched it carry her whole heart forward. Later, in her office, Emma opened the first-year impact folder. A stack of handwritten letters spilled across her desk. She unfolded one from a mother who had reached a job interview thanks to the program's emergency ticket. It read, "I got hired. My children have beds. Thank you for seeing me." She pinned it to the wall next to Mason's crayon, train drawing, the one he made the night they slept on the cold bench. A photo of Alexander's daughter, Sophia, hung there too, healthy, laughing, alive.
One ticket. Look what it grew into.
The report counted. 247 families helped, 186 job interviews, 31 emergency medical trips. One ticket, given in a moment of simple decency, had become 100 roads home. Outside, a train horn echoed. Emma walked to the window and watched the rails disappearing into the sun. The woman who'd once slept on a bench was now the one building the map. In his office across the city, Alexander Hayes watched the sun set over the rail yard. His tablet buzzed with a video call. His daughter, Sophia's face filled the screen, missing front teeth, and her voice came through. "Daddy, when are you coming home?"
Soon, sweetheart. I was just thinking about the lady who got me to you that night. She has a son your age now.
After he hung up, his assistant placed a tablet on his desk showing a local news segment. On the screen, Emma stood at a podium, speaking about the Community Impact Program that had become the heart of the railroad. Alexander leaned forward, watching the woman who'd once been invisible, now commanding the room with quiet authority.
I gave her a job, but she built a movement.
The assistant returned with a quarterly report. Community impact inquiries had jumped 200% since the segment aired. He set the report down and looked out at the tracks. One ticket, one woman, and a rail line that would never be the same. At dusk, the train slid back into Philadelphia Station. Emma and Alexander stood on the platform, waiting.
Mama, I saw the whole country. The engineer let me pull the whistle.
I heard you miles away, baby. Come here.
He had a worn paper map with train routes circled and a pocket full of ticket stubs. Alexander watched her wrap her arms around her son, and for the first time he felt he had done something that matched her gift. Emma reached into her purse and pulled out the original ticket stub, creased and soft. She held it out to Alexander, a silent offering between two people who no longer needed words.
She kept it all this time.
They stood there, 3 figures by the tracks, the paper frail, but the promise it held absolutely solid. The ticket stub would end up on a windowsill at home, pinned beside a boy's childish drawing of a train. In their living room, Mason pinned his crayon drawing beside the glossy photo of himself driving the train.
See, Mama? That's the train from my dream. And now I drove a real one.
Emma opened the drawer where she kept her treasures. The ticket stub lay there, softly creased.
One scrap of paper, given in a dark station, started all of this.
Some gifts can't be repaid. They can only be paid forward, into the next outstretched hand, the next desperate night. She set the ticket inside, then closed the drawer. Mason yawned against her shoulder. On the windowsill, the crayon drawing and the faded ticket rested together. A train's lights sliding past. The bench where she'd slept was just a bench now. But this room, this boy, this was home, and the ticket, no longer a ticket, had become a promise. The house settled, the train passed, and the promise held. The Philadelphia station at dawn, marble floors catching the first light, benches polished, the departure board humming softly. But one bench, near Gate 4, held a silent story no one walking past would ever know. It was the spot where a woman once wrapped her coat around a sleeping boy and gave away her only ticket. Now, the sun cut through the tall windows, falling across the place where she'd made her impossible choice. A train horn sounded in the distance, low and resonant, then faded into the morning quiet. And somewhere on those rails, a boy with a conductor's hat still watched the mountains roll by. Because one ticket, given in the dark, never stops moving. One ticket, one choice. 2 families. One ticket, one choice. 2 families. Emma stood at the window long after Mason fell asleep, watching the tracks that once led nowhere, now stretch into every possibility. The ticket stub still rested on the sill, beside the drawing of a train that looked exactly like the one that carried her son away and brought him back. Some people sleep on benches and become invisible, but Emma Davis had become a destination. In an office across the city, Alexander Hayes still kept the other half of that ticket stub in his desk. He didn't frame it or show it to anyone. He just knew it was there, proof that sometimes the most powerful people are the ones who give everything away. The train that had taken Mason across the country now crossed a bridge at sunset, its horn echoing across the valley. Inside, a young man with a conductor's hat would remember this day forever. One ticket, given in a cold Philadelphia station, had become 100 journeys, and the promise that started on that bench, that kindness could change a life, kept moving, as unstoppable as the rails themselves, fade to black. The windowsill in Emma's home held the story. A child's crayon drawing, a worn ticket stub, a photograph of a boy in a conductor's hat. Every morning, the sun touched them first, before filling the rest of the room with warmth. And every morning, Emma glanced at them before she left for the station where she once slept on a cold bench. That station, now bustling with travelers, had no sign of the night it nearly broke 2 people. On a bench near Gate 4, someone had carved a small heart into the wood. Emma never saw it, but Alexander did, once, and he nodded to himself without a word. The train that had once taken a desperate father to his daughter now crossed the same bridge, whistle echoing across the valley, and somewhere, in a drawer or a desk, 2 halves of a ticket stub waited to remind them. One ticket, one choice, 2 families, a rail line that would carry that story forever.